In this short video, we're going to be talking about ways that we can better visualize what may be going on when we're setting corner hides within our searches. We're going to be doing that by using dry ice. So the first thing that we want to talk about is why it is that corner hides may be challenging in the first place when we are training or trialing in scent work. The important thing to remember is that there are different types of corners, and where the hide is actually set is going to affect what the odor plume is going to do depending on the type of corner that that hide is set on or within. So let me try to help this make a little bit more sense. So these are the two main types of corners that we may encounter when we are designing our searches. So these are completely made up terms just to try to help better articulate what it is that I'm attempting to explain as far as these different types of corners. So the first type is what I call external corners. So this is typically what we think about the outside of a building. So if we think of a building as a box and we're looking at it from above, there are going to be 4 corners, and each of those corners are going to be an external corner. But if we were to think about an alcove, that's actually going to be an internal corner. And our odor picture is going to look drastically different with that type of corner. To try to help this make a little bit more sense, let's take a look at the stock photo of an exterior view of this building. Here are some examples of what the external corners could potentially be within this space. We see there are 3 possible external corners just on the building itself. We also have an external corner opportunity with the curb. But there are also internal corner possibilities. Once again, we have this internal corner where the red part of the building is meeting that black part as far as the frame for the glass. And we also have an internal corner with the inner part of that curb. So again, these are 2 drastically different types of corners. And if we were to place hides in these locations, our odor plumes are going to do something drastically different. So when we're designing our searches, some of the things that we want to ask ourselves is, where is it that the odor is going to go when I've set this hide? And how is it that the dog is going to be able to work their way back to source? How are they going to use the odor information within the search area in order to get back to where I've set the hide? To help with this, we have some video examples using dry ice set within potential search areas, utilizing these different types of corners so you can better visualize potentially what your odor plume is going to do when you set a hide in an external corner as opposed to an internal corner. Again, remembering those questions of where it is that the odor is going to be traveling to and how is the dog going to be able to work the space in order to work their way back to source. Again, just as a reminder, this is just a visualization exercise to try to help us as people better understand what our dogs may be doing. But the fog that is emanated from the dry ice is not a one-to-one comparison to what our odor is actually doing within the space. This is just to try to help us better visualize what could potentially be happening. So in this video, we're going to be looking at a variety of different examples of what dry ice can look like when we place a hide in different types of corners. So we're just going to be looking at what the fog from the dry ice looks like when it's inside these different positions. So here we can see we've set our hide on the other side of this drain pipe. If we're just looking at the fog, see how it's able to swing around the house and suddenly goes in this other direction? This is a very windy day, so we can see how it just changes depending on what the airflow is doing. Back and forth it goes, all depending, and even the velocity changes. Again, very windy day on this day. We can see how the wind is interacting with the building itself. Now we've moved it slightly, and we can see how there's a little bit more consistency where it's going in this direction. It wants to come up and then come out. We have some more swirling depending on what the wind is doing. And then we move it on the other side of the drain pipe. Completely different picture, where now it's shooting off this part of the house. So we can see how having the hide here or here or here, drastically different. And again, they're not that far as placement, but our potential odor is traveling in a completely different way. We've moved our hide now where it's in this corner where it's being blocked slightly by the hedge. And Again, drastically different picture that we're seeing with the fog. Again, this is just giving us a visual representation of what odor could potentially be doing. But we can see how it's traveling along here. It's allowing a little bit more interaction with the hedge depending on what airflow is doing. And here we have an internal corner. So this is inside a little alcove. Again, drastically different picture. Look at how all of this fog is interacting with this bottom little part here. All these channeling opportunities even in between the grout. So just think, if this was where our hide was, that our dog may be able to get some tendrils of odor away from this corner, but they may actually need to get pretty deep into the corner in order to figure out where this hide is. That's something else to keep in mind, is that if we were to compare these two corners, completely different odor pictures that our dog may have to encounter and deal with in order to how to solve those puzzles. Whereas this hide on the left, where it's on the external part of the building, this external corner, they may be able to get access to that odor very far away and work their way into the plume. Whereas for this internal corner hide, our dog may have to work their way really deep into that corner in order to figure out where the hide is. So then this is why these visualization exercises with dry ice can be so incredibly helpful to give us a better appreciation for just how challenging these things can be. Even if we think that we haven't moved our hide all that much, we may have drastically changed the picture. So now we can better visualize what is happening when we are setting our hides in these corners. The big thing I want everyone to think about is the importance of having our dogs understand that corners can absolutely be productive. Now, one of the ways that we can accomplish this is by setting hides within our corners, again, using these different types, external corners and internal corners. But additionally, we may want to be setting hides away from those corners and potentially using our airflow, whether it be knowing where the wind is going for an exterior search, or using floor fans for an interior search to push that odor into the corner to help our dog understand whether a hide is there or not. Those corners can have a lot of information that they can use in order to work their way back to source. So I hope you found this video helpful. Make certain that you check out everything we have to offer at Setwork University. We have a very large library of stuff, all focused on set work. That include our online courses, webinars, seminars, virtual events, and ebooks, our regularly updated blog, the All About Setwork podcast, free live streams, free training tips, as well as a newly launched Setwork U community. If there's a particular topic that you're interested in and you want us to talk about, by all means, please feel free to reach out. We want to make certain that we're providing what everyone is interested in and what they need. Please give a cookie to your puppy for me. Happy training, and we look forward to seeing you soon.